All right. Okay, so welcome everyone to a very special event. We have a style and color Q&A. Jennifer Mackey-Mary is here from Everyday Style. And if you guys don't know me, my name is Jen Vax and I'm from Your Color Style. So we have a lot of style in there. I know that Jen just gave us a introduction, so we're going to do it again because now they're on the recording for people who want to see the recording later, but we don't have to go into all the stuff.
Yes.
But, so Jen, go ahead and kick us off.
All right. Like you said, I am Jennifer Mackey-Mary. My business is Everyday Style. I am on a mission to help women love the way they look every single day of their lives, whether they are going to the grocery store or going on a hot date night with your hubby or girls' night out with your friends, wherever you are. I think that women just deserve to love the way they look. I think a huge barrier to that is women don't know how to dress themselves. So like I say at the top of a lot of my podcast episodes is that my show, the Everyday Style School, teaches you everything your mom never did about getting dressed. I started my styling career, I don't know, 200 years ago, it seems like, but it was actually in 2000 when I changed careers. I went from food to fashion when I started working for Chico's. And on my first day at work, I learned how to dress the 4 body types and I was hooked. I saw the power that knowing how to dress yourself confidently could have on a woman's life and the impact that it could make. So I was absolutely hooked. I worked for Chico's, I worked for Gap Maternity, I worked for South Moon Under, which is a chain of higher end boutiques. I've done it all. And then after my first daughter was born, I stayed home, hated being a stay-at-home mom, started my own styling business when women would ask me like, how do I dress myself? What do I do? Can you go shopping with me? And I was like, I can do that actually. So I started, I was kind of Northern Virginia's What Not to Wear. I'm sure you guys all know that show, like where they go into your house and they make you try on everything you own and they make you cry. I tried not to make people cry. That was not my goal, but that's what I did. And then in 2018, my family relocated to Minnesota, where I am from. And now my business is 100% online. We sell capsule wardrobe guides every season, as well as style masterclasses on things like how to dress your body shape, how to create a signature style, and how to clean out that closet that I know is probably due for a closet makeover. So that's what I do. And now I'm going to turn it over to Gen V.
I'm so excited that we're actually on this call together. I just want to say that Jen and I got on a Zoom call a couple weeks ago because we're collaborating on her capsule wardrobe offering. So I the members have already been kind of leaking in special things that we're going to do about that. But I just feel like we are very like-minded and have the same kind of energy and passion around helping women feel their best. So for everyone that's on the call that does not know me, my name is Jen Vax, AKA Thoden. If you ever Google me, you'll find Jen Thoden, not Vax, because my name just recently changed. And I am the founder of Your Color Style, yourcolorstyle.com. And we specialize in at a very simple statement, we specialize in color analysis for women, but more importantly, especially to me, we find the best colors, the most flattering colors for women who have really kind of lost how they lost themselves a little bit and really don't feel like themselves anymore. So a lot of women that we get into our middle age, right? And we start to discover that we just don't feel good, that we want to kind of get back to our core or reconnect, or maybe just connect for the first time. And so Your Color Style is very inclusive. So we look for coloring. It doesn't matter if you got gray hair, brown skin, both, fair, dark, doesn't matter. It is an all-inclusive thing. And Your Color Style was really born, if you will, because I was there. I was at a point in my life where it was just past 40. I was recently divorced, and I kind of just looked in the mirror and just didn't like what I saw. I felt frumpy. I felt just, who's going to want to be with someone like me with kids, divorce? And I just felt lousy. And when I started Googling and searching for ways to dress, color analysis appeared, and it's just my jam. I mean, I'm a fine artist. I love color, and I know it seems so obvious now, but it never even occurred to me to look at color as something that would boost yourself. And so for me personally, I find color extremely powerful. When you put a color on that resonates with you, it gives you your own power and confidence, and it can completely transform how you feel that day. And so it just has a lot of energy, and I'm just really passionate about that. So I'm Jen, and thank you, Jen.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I see people are typing in the chat like, "Oh, I know Jen. I know Jen." I'm like, I don't know which Jen. I know a couple of names in there, so I'm assuming I'm that Jen. Maybe you're the other one. I don't know.
Yeah, so you guys are going to have
Jen
to
M
get
and Jen V.
I Jens. Yeah, I know.
Let me guess. Born like mid to late 70s.
Yes.
That's when everyone was a Jennifer. Everybody was a Jennifer.
Yes.
And if you're a Jennifer
Lynn or Jenny Lynn.
Are you Jennifer Lynn?
Yes.
Yeah, right back at you, girl.
Yep. I was like, honestly, I even went to school. Like my maiden name is Lewis, and I actually went to school with another Jennifer Lynn Lewis. She was a couple years older than me and a soccer player. And so she was blonde as well. And so everybody kept confusing us as like, oh, are you playing tonight? I'm like, no, I'm not. Not playing tonight.
Way to go, original moms of this.
I know. Thanks, Mom. Anyways.
All right. So as we were emailing back and forth today, I said, you know what, maybe it would be fun to kick off with a question that we both could answer. And the one that I threw out to you that you were like, yes, let's do that, is what is one or maybe two thoughts or beliefs or myths or misconceptions about color that you would like right now to go on record as putting to bed forever and ever and ever. Amen. Go for it.
Okay. All right. Misconception. I don't believe there's ever a wrong color to wear. So I know that's crazy because my business is color analysis and my business is helping women find colors that are most flattering. But I do believe that we just tend to get really caught up in the rules and like, oh, Jen says that this color is flattering me, so therefore I can't wear this one. But I love this color. I love wearing purple or whatever the color is. And gosh, it's not about telling you can't wear a color. It's if you ask my opinion, I'm going to tell you what I feel is flattering based on what I see. But if you put on a color and it feels good, like you're like, I love this. I love this top. I always feel so good. Then you should absolutely wear it. There's nothing is more beautiful than a woman that is confident and feels good in her own skin and doesn't care what people are thinking because she feels so good in whatever she is wearing. That is what you see. Yeah. It doesn't matter if the color's off or that, it's not a color you would personally choose, because if you shine, if you're just you authentically, it doesn't really matter. But sometimes we need those foundational rules to get us there. And that's kind of where, I think you feel the same way, Jen. It's about those foundations that you can kind of lean on, and then you can start to play and experiment and do your own thing. So that's my number one thing. It's never a wrong color to wear.
I love that. There are two quotes that come to mind when you're talking about that. And the first one is Audrey Hepburn, "Happy girls are the prettiest." Right? Mm-hmm. I remember a friend of mine had her colors done, as we say, and she found out that brown was a great color for her. And like this bright pink that she loved was not. And she was crying, right? Like literal tears, crying. And I said, a happy girl in pink will always look better than a sad girl in brown. Like it doesn't matter if I love that. Brings out your undertones, but like a happy girl in pink always looks better than a sad girl in brown every day of the week. So I love that. The other quote that I use all the time is Pablo Picasso, actually. And he said, "Learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist."
Mm-hmm. I've heard that one.
I love that, because I feel like if you know why that pink works better on you than, a brown or whatever color it is, you kind of know where you can tweak it a little bit and how you can make that work, rather than just wondering, why do I not like the way I look, or why do I look drab, whatever it is.
Or like, why does it just look off? Like what's going on with this outfit, right? Because color is only one piece. So Jen, I'll turn it back on you then. what is the biggest misconception or belief about just personal style?
Okay. I've got two. I'm going to share two because I'm always a little extra. My first one is the belief that style will come when all conditions are perfect, right? I hear this all the time. Like, when I lose the weight, when I have a better job, when I have more money, when my kids are back in school, when, always. And we put off style until conditions are right. Very rarely are conditions right? There just aren't. You're never as skinny as you want, as young as you want, as rich as you want, as busy as, whatever it is. Like, those conditions very rarely happen. And then on those magical days when all conditions are right, you don't have anything to wear because you didn't plan for it. Like, I wish women would start looking at style as something they can do every single day. You can have pajamas that are stylish. You can have athleisure clothes that are stylish and make you feel good, and not wait for that magical someday. And what happens is, it's easier to find those magical somedays and get there when you've been liking yourself all along. The idea that we hate ourselves until we love ourselves is crazy to me. That is absolute crazy pants. So
but it's what we do, right?
It is all the time, all the time. Yeah. Like, I will be worth it when I lose the weight. Like, we have to deserve a good wardrobe. We have to earn a crazy expensive pair of jeans. You don't actually, you can just go buy them. Nobody's going to check. Nobody's going to, you don't have to like present a license to have good style. You can just do it. No, you don't, no one's going to check. So that's my first one, is that saving style for the perfect occasion, for the perfect someday, needs to go. And I think the other one for me is the idea that caring about how you look is frivolous. I would love to put that one to bed, like right now. And the funny thing is, I know everyone who is here doesn't believe style is frivolous. You're here because you don't believe that. But I think that we feel like it should feel frivolous. Does that make sense? Right? Like, so there's sort of this tension between, like, I want to like the way I look. I want to focus on my style. I want to focus on myself. Oh, but wait, is that really frivolous? Am I being really self-centered? Am I, being narcissistic if I do that? So women want to look good, and then they feel good about, or they feel bad about wanting to look good. And there's this tension. Like, can't we just kind of get rid of that and say, the way I look affects the way I feel about myself, and that affects how I show up in the world, right? So it's not frivolous. It's not frivolous at all. And you get to pick what's important to you. If style isn't a priority today, cool. But if it is, cool, go for it. So those are my two that I would love for women just to get out of their heads and give themselves permission to be stylish wherever they are, for whatever reason.
Give permission and to own it, and to accept compliments when you get them, and not expect compliments either. But like, when you feel good and you go to a party and someone says, oh my gosh, you look amazing, don't say, oh yeah, but my hair I couldn't get my hair to just say thank you, I feel really good.
Yeah.
And then because that energy, oh man, that's the kind of energy people gravitate towards. And then they want to talk to you and you don't know why. And then, so if you're an introvert, it might be uncomfortable, but
that's really an interesting idea, though, that we don't accept compliments well.
Yeah.
When someone gives you a compliment, they're giving you a gift.
And
how rude is it to throw it back at somebody? Like, here's the thing I bought you. No, not good enough. Like, I'm not worthy. So
right.
Start taking and giving compliments more, everybody. Okay. All right. Do you want to start with a question that you got?
Yeah. Hold on one second. Okay. All right. Let's talk body shape, Jen, because I get a lot of these questions all the time. And so this is a loaded question, so we'll just keep it really, really short. But like, I get a lot of questions around, what do I wear if I've got larger hips and I'm petite, or what do I wear when I've got, a large chest and skinny legs? And so what kind of tips could you maybe give our watchers, right, about figuring out what their body shape is and like how they're supposed to figure out how to dress it.
Well, that is a big question.
Yeah.
So let's start with like the whole idea of body shape, right? Everybody knows the 4 basic body types. And there's some people out there who are like, women shouldn't be compared to fruits. And then I'm kind of like, who cares? If it helps you dress better, you can call me, a mango. I really, truly don't care. So I think it's the reason that I do use the body shape, the traditional labels, is that they have common meaning. And I remember getting an email very early in my business from somebody who was mad. She was mad that I was calling people rectangles instead of contoured columns. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. You've made it when people are mad at you, right? But she was really upset about this because she said women aren't shapes. And I'm like, well, a column is a shape, right? Like what? It's just a nicer term. But my thing is, if you're at the grocery store and you're flipping through that magazine, like best jeans for every body type, which has never helped anyone ever, that's another rant. But you come across contoured column, you're like, I don't know what that is, right? There's no common language for that. So I use rectangle. So I just use the 4 basic ones, and I only use the 4 basic ones because the more body shapes we try to put people in, the more confusing it gets. I have lots of style books behind me. I have a book that has 6. I have a book that has 8. I have a book that has 12. The more body shapes there are in the book, the harder it is for me to identify what that body shape looks like. And I've literally seen thousands of bodies, but we could have, how many women are there in the world? We could have that many body shapes because everybody's a little bit different, right? So I use the 4 basic ones. And the reason I do that is everybody is one of these 4 or a combination of these 4. There are no other options. And they are bigger on top than on the bottom. That would be an apple. Bigger on the bottom than they are on the top. That would be a pear. Same on top and bottom with a defined waist. That's an hourglass. Same on top and bottom without a defined waist. That's a rectangle. Literally, those are your only choices. You can be a little bigger on, you know what I'm saying? Then we're talking about like varying degrees. And then we're talking about like how high your waist is. So the idea that you should learn all the rules to dress one of these 4 body types doesn't make a lot of sense because a lot of people have to borrow from other ones.
Right.
So I really teach that you don't need a label, you need a strategy. You need to understand how to use color on your body. And I'm not talking about colors that are flattering to you, but I'm talking about darker colors make things look smaller, whereas lighter colors make things look bigger. So I'll use my body as an example. I'm bigger on the top than I am on the bottom. A white shirt and black pants is like the worst thing I could wear because it makes my top half look even bigger than my bottom half. My bottom half, I look like an ice cream cone. So that's a bad idea. However, a black top and white pants balances me out more. So using things like color, where you're putting lines on your body, where you're using details like ruffles and pockets and, epaulettes and, all that kind of stuff, that affects how you dress your shape as well. Volume, proportion, all those kinds of things. So I believe in learning those principles rather than a hard set of rules. Because you can never learn all the rules. You just can't. But I encourage women to learn some of these things and get to the point where they can pick up a shirt or a dress and say, okay, I'm looking at this thing. What will it do for my body? What will it do for me? Okay, I see that it has a puff sleeve. Okay, that makes my shoulders look bigger. I see that it has a mock neck. That's going to make my neck look shorter and wider. For me, terrible dress or top. For some women with very, very long necks, narrow shoulders, fantastic top. So I think we kind of get into this like nobody should wear stripes. Not true. Lots of people should wear stripes. But lots of people should. It's what do you want those clothes to do for you? And we have to start looking in terms of, rather than meeting all of these, like, here's my little rule checkbox and they have to meet all of them, but rather, what will that do for me? And is that the result that I want? That makes it so much easier to dress bodies. Now, if you go on my website and you take the body shape quiz, you're going to find out which fruit or shape you are in the beginning. And then we're going to start to talk about how to get rid of the label and really understand the strategy.
Yeah, I love that. I like that. I like that so much. Strategy is so much more important because I'm always talking about lines. Like pay attention to where the lines are on your body.
Yes.
Like those really cute sweater dresses where they have like the horizontal lines. It's not horizontal lines that make you look wide. It's where the line lands. Like, I mean, I don't even understand what some of these manufacturers do. Some of these colors are literally land right at the waist or the stomach. And I'm like, who can wear this? Except for someone who has no shape can wear it. That's who.
Maybe, or maybe somebody who really wants to draw attention right there. And I know lots of people who do. So I would say, like in the case of an hourglass woman who is very shapely,
she could do it. Yeah.
But wants to hide a little bit of fluff, but also draw attention to that section of her body, that could be a really good thing. So that's why I always think like there are no good clothes and bad clothes. There's what clothes do for you, and do you like that? Do you want that? Is that the result you're going for? Because if it is, awesome. If it's not, chuck it and move on.
Nice. I like it. Good tip.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw a question to you, but first of all, for the Gen M people in the group, can you tell us about your color system a little bit? Because it is different. It is not based on seasons. A lot of my people were like, I'm a spring. What is that? You know, what do I And I'm like, yeah, you're going to be disappointed because we're not talking about that.
But I can still translate for them if they want to talk seasons. It's totally okay. I won't hold it against them. So your color style is not seasonal color analysis. It is a new methodology that is proprietary. It is trademarked. It is mine that I've come up with, and it is based on color analysis principles and color theory. So it's not like it came from the ether. Color analysis in general, including seasons, are all based on color theory. They're all based on the concept that color has, there's a hue, there's a chroma, the brightness of a color, or saturation, if you will, the lightness or darkness of a color. So those are all true with any system that you can imagine right now or have come across. That is what's true. What I found with seasons is that for the 4 seasons, the basics, spring, summer, winter, fall, autumn, or whatever, those are too generic, and people were having a hard time can't fit into them. Then they came up with the 12 seasons system, right? That's what everybody's very familiar with, the 12 seasons. And that's pretty good. I would never say that's not a good season. In fact, it's one of the ones I trained in and I got a certification to do. But I had a lot of people start to come to me that had gray hair that just didn't fit into those 12. It was confusing. And then I actually went and I studied a 16 system by Ferial, and she was lovely. I think she's now the president of the Image Consulting Association or something like that. She's really, really impressive woman. And it's a really clever system that she came up with, but it was really confusing, because she started breaking all the things people thought about seasons, and I got nowhere with that. And so I kind of took a step back and I thought, okay, what is so confusing? Like, what do people need to know? And so I sort of just took a step back and I said, okay, what do we know? We know that color has brightness. We know that it has, or softness, right? The desaturation. We know that there's light and dark, and it's the same kind of how we would describe ourselves. It's the same colors that are in alignment, right? We're always talking about harmony. We're talking about balance a little bit with body type. It's the same thing with color. We're always looking for that balance and harmony with color as well. So if you were to describe yourself with, like, say, bright eyes and light hair, you very likely look good in bright and light colors. So the way that your color style works is that you look at your chroma first. Are you bright or are you soft? And what that means is, it may not be obvious for everyone, but you either typically wear the brighter colors best, like you, Jen, and like me, or you typically wear softer colors best because brighter colors are just too overpowering for you. Okay. And like for me, soft colors, grayish colors drain me. They don't really do a lot. Doesn't mean you can't wear them, right? But so you kind of go there. Then we talk about undertones, right? So do you have more warmth in your undertones or coolness? And sometimes it's really hard to tell. Sometimes you feel neutral, but you typically tip one way or the other. And then we have how dark you are, how light you are. And I have found that the range of colors that you wear has a lot to do with your depth. So for someone who's very light, a really dark color doesn't always flatter. Sometimes it can feel really heavy. Like I still wear black, but that it doesn't really make me pop. It kind of just overpowers me, and I know it. But when you go into the winter once, you're going to wear darker colors. That's just the way it is. But I've also found that for some people, that say, especially women or individuals that are soft, warm, and deep, light colors, pastels wash them out because their range is up in that more in those darker colors. And so those are the rules that you can kind of follow and get along. And I find that it's very flexible. Not everyone fits perfectly, but you don't have to in your color style. It's flexible, so you can share from the other color palettes and really find colors that really work, versus being pigeonholed into a season and not really understanding why. That's what really bothers me the most, is that you don't, I was told I was a spring. Well, what does that mean? And they can't say. So then how are you supposed to figure what colors look best on you if you don't really understand why? And so that's kind of my methodology. Is I like to teach a lot of color theory. I like to talk about it all the time. My members know I'm always talking about color theory and how do you mix and match and that kind of stuff. And so that is your color style.
I love that. So just correct me if I'm wrong. Do you start with like bright versus soft?
Yes.
Is okay. That's really, I think that's what makes it different than other systems.
Yeah.
I think most of them start with cool versus warm. Right.
Yeah. But you know what, here's the problem with that, or what I have a problem with, is that someone can say to me, well, I don't look good in blue. But everybody can wear blue, in my opinion. Everyone can wear blue. And they can say to me, well, I just don't look good in blue. And I'll say, okay, well, show me the blue that you're trying to wear. And they'll come out and they're wearing a bright blue, for example. And I will say, well, that's why you need a softer blue. Try like a navy blue or a gray blue, something softer, because that individual might have softer tones and the bright blue is just way too much. And that's why I do bright versus soft first, because I feel like if you were to take away anything tonight from finding your right colors, if you feel like you can wear brighter colors best, then it's the softer colors that aren't going to feel right. So it's not always just about the hue, right? The color has a lot to do with the type of color.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, oh, I can't wear blue. No, you can. Everybody can wear blue, in my opinion. It's just, maybe it's too bright or maybe it's too soft, right? And so there's always an in between. There's always a balance there on what you're wearing. It could be too dark, could be too light.
I love that. I think that is a tip that makes it really easy to look at the table of sweaters. And we all know what the table of sweaters is, right? Where you're faced with like 12 color options. You're like, I don't know. So I'll just pick black, right?
Right.
But I know, because I'm obviously bright, like I need bright. It cannot be muted, heathered. No, it just washes me out, but it can be bright. So if I'm faced with the table of sweaters, my eyes just go to the brights.
That's right.
It just goes to bright. If it's not bright, and I can buy it, I can wear it, but I'm never going to pull it out of my closet because I know I'm not going to like the way I look in it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
exactly. Right. So there you go. That's why I start with that first.
Cool. All right. So I'm going to ask you one of the questions. I got a lot of color questions for you. Although most of them have to do with one subject. So we're going to tackle that. And that is hair color and how it affects your coloring. Oh boy. And I'm going to just give you a whole bunch of them and you can unpack them as you'd like. You ready?
Okay.
Is it common to get a makeover, hair color and makeup, to go with a color palette once you've had it done? Should a blonde go to a darker shade of blonde in the fall and winter? I'm going to say no. And let's see, I had another one. Oh, like going gray, does that affect it? Okay. Do you have to start wearing softer colors when you go gray? And are there any other dealing with that exact?
So
and how does getting highlights affect my color? Can I wear more warm colors or should I stick to cool, since that's her type? Anyway. Okay. All right. Whew. All right. Let's unpack this. All right. Let's talk about just coloring your hair in general and how that impacts your overall color palette. And then we're going to talk about gray, because that's one of the hot topics at your color style for sure.
because for some reason, all the other systems don't seem to really want to talk about gray hair. But I think it's really important. So, okay. So first of all, your hair is on your head, and it's obviously a very dominant piece of your overall face, and therefore it does impact your color palette. Does it necessarily change what you wear entirely? That's not necessarily true. So we're going to be talking about hair color that is not pink or blue or green, okay? Because
Not a
that's a
fashion
whole
color,
other
as they
can
call
of
it.
worms that I'm going to get my hair colored pink, by the way. It's going to be super exciting. It's like a, you know what, we'll go there later.
I can't wait to see that.
It's going to be awesome. Well, yeah. Okay. But that, anyways, that I digress. So it's going to impact your color palette, but it's not going to shift you from having different undertones. So if you have cool undertones, you're still going to have cool undertones with whatever hair that you've done. What will likely happen is that either if you go darker, you're going to be able to increase your range of color that you can wear, because let's say I colored my hair dark brown. So I'm normally bright, warm, and light, bright, warm, and light top. If I go dark brown, it might look a little strange on me, although I'm not going to lie, like it's pretty highlighted, so maybe it won't look that bad. But if it go dark brown, that now all of a sudden those colors that seemed too dark before will now actually kind of be a little bit more in balance. And I might even need a little bit of darker colors because my hair would be so much darker. So a lot of people who go, like they want to have fun and they go darker, or the opposite, right? They go completely light. It's going to change your range. It's going, if you had really dark hair and you decided you wanted to go platinum blonde and you've got like medium colored eyes, you've changed your scale of color. So you don't necessarily change your palette as much as you change your scale. You're not going to suddenly wear warmer colors. The only exception would be that if you went red, you might be able to add in some of the tones of the reds that are in your hair into your color palette if they didn't exist before.
Okay.
But a lot of times though, if you have warm undertones, you want to aim for those warm reds. And if you've got cool undertones, you want to aim for the cool reds. Those reds kind of like a bluish kind of hue to it, almost looks a little purpley, because otherwise you might feel off because you put warm hair on a cool undertone, or you put cool hair on a warm undertone, and you might feel off, and it's because the hair tone wasn't right. So that happens a lot. And so sometimes some of our clients will coach them to kind of ease back into a cooler brown, for example, or a warmer brown, depending on where they are and how they did that. It's not always easy, because once you colored your hair, you have to have someone you really trust to get yourself back on track.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
So for June says she is confused. June, can you type in there what's confusing you so that I can make sure that I address that? So for gray hair, so if you're going to grow your hair out, you're going to go gray. And I have a lot of people on the membership that have done that. It's beautiful. Will your color palette change? It might. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it softens you, because a lot of people will go white. They will go salt and pepper with the silvery white in their hair. Yeah. Sometimes people go a little brighter with their colors because they went from brown to, salt and pepper closer to white silver, and they actually need a little bit of extra to balance out that strong hair. So where they may have been coloring their hair down, once they grew the gray out, they actually need a little bit more shine to balance out the shininess of their hair. So it's not always that you're going to soften. One of the things that does happen for some people, I know it's going to happen to me, is that you go gray now, you go gray slowly and gradually, and you end up with this gray blend that is a much softer look, and it could soften you a little bit. I would give caution though, that before you decide that you're going to drop all of your bright clothes and wear soft, to really, really be sure that that's what happens. I don't believe you just suddenly go soft. I think that happens over a period of time where you've gone so gray that now the bright colors feel too much. But even then, I would say just simply lighten your palette and stay light and bright to give you a little lift, because the more gray you go, right? If you wear more soft colors, even though technically you're soft, it might be too much. It might be too soft. You might want to bring back in some bright and light. So everyone's different. Redheads will typically go white, gray really, really fast, like overnight. They still have warm undertones, even though their hair has lost their pigment, because they didn't lose all their pigment. And but now they can probably wear white and gray where they couldn't wear that before. So, so June's asking me, I think I am color challenged. Are you saying I can change the best colors for me if I change my hair color? No. What I'm saying is that your color palette is likely not going to change that much just because you change your hair color. It just may change the range, but you're not going to necessarily get a brand new color palette because you colored your hair. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. Okay.
So what's your opinion on blondes going darker in the winter?
That's a personal choice. That's when we start talking about, your own signature style, your own personal style. That's where, if you want to go darker because that just makes you feel good and good looks, makes you feel great, then you 100% should. I mean, yeah, it could definitely help wear some of the darker colors that are out in the stores, but there's also a lot of lighter, brighter colors out in the store. So I just think if it's fun for you to change your hair, you should totally do it and own it and have fun with it. But I wouldn't say that's a rule. Yeah. I've never gone dark on purpose. Like, I mean, I like staying blonde. So
every fall I have this moment where I'm like, I should go darker. And then sometimes I've gone darker and I'm like, why did I do this? Because anything dark, I just sort of disappear. My natural color. Put something in the comments. If you actually know what your natural color is, go ahead and drop this in the comments. I would love to know how many people are like, I know, because I know
idea. A few of my members are on, and I know that they know. But that's funny. Like, when we do color analysis on people, I'll say, can you describe your natural hair color? Because like I can usually tell, right? Like, not that it's a bad thing, I just that it's sometimes that the hair, something's off. I'm like, do you know what your natural color is? And they typically are like, well, I think it's this. I'm like, okay, well, that's a little helpful, light brown, dark brown, I don't know, kind of thing.
I'm very light naturally, very, very light, but it's so cool and ashy that it's just terrible. No, we'll never, ever see that color ever. All right. Okay. You got a style question for me, Jen?
I do. All right. So you are the capsule wardrobe queen.
I am. Yes.
No, I'll
own that title.
Promotion. Yes. So where's your tiara? Okay. For those who are really looking to sort of minimize their wardrobe and really get down to what's most important, what do you recommend are the items that they should be investing in?
Okay, so investing in is different than like paring down your wardrobe, right? So one is about like what is essential to you, and the other is how much you want to spend on your clothes. But let's answer like the investment question.
Yeah.
I am a big believer that you splurge on outerwear and underwear, you spend on the bottom and you save on the top. And this is exactly the opposite of how everybody is shopping, right?
Yeah, I want to know. I want to hear more.
Okay, so we like to spend money on the tops because that's what people see, and we feel like it changes up everything. And oh, I got a new shirt, I'm good to go. And then we don't like to buy pants because they're hard to fit, and you have to look at a number that you probably don't want to see in the back. And shoes are sort of an afterthought. And then you're like, I've had this bra since high school. I don't know why my boobs aren't where they're supposed to be, right? And we got to flip that. The reason that you should splurge on outerwear, especially if you live in a climate with weather, like real weather, is that you don't replace these things very often. right? Those are usually things that you buy once and hang on to for a really long time. And there is no bad weather. There is only bad clothing. So when you splurge on outerwear that you like, that makes you look good and is super functional, you're going to want to wear it forever and ever and ever. And you probably will wear it for a very long time. You got to splurge on underwear because, and I know it's not fun, like not enough people see it to justify the expense, but it makes everything you wear look better. It makes everything you wear look more expensive. You know, you can put an Old Navy top over a really great bra and it's going to look pretty good. You can put $100 t-shirt over a bad bra and there is no fix in that situation. Like you cannot save that with a shirt. So you got to splurge on the outerwear and the underwear and then spend on the bottom. Bottoms show quality. They show quality. So there is a difference in how expensive jeans look and how like Old Navy jeans look. There really is. There is a difference in how they wear. There's a difference in the stitching and they use more quality materials on the bottoms. We also tend to have fewer bottoms, so we wear them more often. They take a bigger beating. We launder them more often. So you got to spend on the bottom. You got to spend on your shoes. Most women that I've worked with, when I've been in their closets, they have like rows and rows and rows and rows of heels and like special occasion shoes that they don't wear. They just don't wear those. And then I remember asking one client, like, but what do you wear every day? She's like, oh, I just wear my uglies. And the whole time I was there, I was like, what is wrong with this woman's wardrobe? Like, why am I here? Like, she's got cute clothes, but she kept saying, I just never look put together. I don't know. I always look frumpy. And I was like, well, you just described your shoes as uglies, right? Like, ding, ding, yeah. I think we found it. And they were ugly. Shoes define your style. So you have to have really good shoes that don't hurt your feet, because if they're not comfortable, you're not going to wear them. And that really define your style and enhance your style. And you can be on point from head to ankle. And if the shoes ruin it, it's ruined. Like, don't do that. So
let me interrupt you really quickly, Jen. And I want to ask a question to add into there. When we talk about personal style and we talk about shoes specifically, like shoes make the outfit, right? Mm-hmm. We're not necessarily talking fancy, right?
No. I'm so glad you asked that, because the third thing that I would ask women to put to bed forever and ever and ever is the idea that dressing well means dressing up. I don't remember the last pair of like real heels that went on my feet. I don't go anywhere that dressy anymore, right? Mm-hmm. It's like booties and sneakers and flats and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to dress up to dress well. You can have really cute sneakers. You can have really cute, sneakers are such a trend. You can have really cute flats and loafers and booties and Chelsea boots that are like the most comfortable things you can wear with that big old thick lug sole. Those are great. They're super cute, and they define your style. But I think we get this idea of like comfortable shoes have to be the ugliest thing that ever happened. They don't. And you don't have to wear heels to dress well. You don't have to wear uncomfortable pointy shoes to dress well. So dressing well does not mean dressing up. So good thing you asked that. So spend your money there. With whatever is left in your clothing budget, buy tops. Why? Because they are such showpieces in our wardrobe. You want to change them out more. You want to change your tops out seasonally. Your tops are going to show trend more than your bottoms are for the most part. So you're not going to wear them as long. So don't invest a ton in them. Now, if you find something that you really love, I am a big believer in spending as much as you can afford on things you truly, truly love, right? But for the most part, when women put all of their money into tops and neglect everything else in their wardrobe, it shows. And that's when they're like, I have nothing to wear. And you go in, you're like, but I see 500 shirts. So I don't, but they don't have any bottoms to go with them. They don't have any shoes to put it all together. So stop spending so much on tops and spend that money on the bottoms. Buy a fabulous coat, get a great bag, those kinds of things. And you can go to Old Navy and buy cute tops. You can go to Target. Target is killing it with style lately and tops. Target pants, they're not as great. So Nordstrom for the pants, Target for the tops.
that's a huge takeaway. I hope everyone wrote that down, because I'm it's funny because I'm like, I never thought about that before, but you know what? I have thought of that before, because when I go in my closet and I pick out like my favorite sweater when it's chilly outside, but I have the same jeans that I wear all the time. And yeah, I can change it up with some shoes because I got some killer shoes. Joe, my husband, buys me shoes all the time. But you're right.
I love that.
Like, I need more pants. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna go shopping.
Yeah. Bottoms are wardrobe multipliers. Tops add to your wardrobe. Bottoms multiply it.
Mhm.
So if you want more to wear, go buy some bottoms.
Jen, there's a question in the chat that says, what do y'all think of services like Stitch Fix or Amazon Wardrobe?
So those are two very different services. I love Prime Wardrobe. I love it. I've got like 3 huge boxes in my house right now because I was buying coats and snow pants for my daughter. I was doing some jeans for myself. Right now, when we can't really get to stores as easily, the selection is terrible. I think it's a really easy thing. So I'm a huge fan of that. I mean, there's no downside to doing it. Stitch Fix for me is a completely different story, and I am not a fan, and I'll tell you why I'm not a fan. The best way to build a super duper functional wardrobe is to shop less often and buy more at a time. When you do that, you create, even if you're not intending to, you start to create kind of that capsule wardrobe. Like our capsule wardrobes are, I don't know, 39, 40 pieces, and they make probably 300 or 400 outfit combinations, right? Because every piece is designed to go together. And when you shop less often and buy more stuff, you kind of naturally gravitate toward that idea. Stitch Fix is the absolute opposite. They send you less stuff more often. And what happens is you're like, oh, I love this blouse. Well, you don't have anything to go with it. Mm-hmm. The next time you're like, oh, cool sweater. Well, you don't have anything to go with it. So you just end up, I mean, to me, like the worst of both worlds is to end up with a closet full of clothes and nothing to wear. Like I'd rather see women have way less stuff and way more options. That's a better plan than I have so many things and I can wear this blouse with my favorite jeans, or this sweater with my favorite jeans, or this blazer with my favorite jeans. Stitch Fix doesn't often send great basics that women need.
Yeah.
And women don't focus on putting enough of those things into their wardrobes. So I think that is problematic. The other thing about Stitch Fix is that it encourages you to throw good money after bad. I don't know, when I used to do it, I'd be like, sure, I'll keep this $68 top so I don't lose a $20 styling fee. Like, yeah, the math doesn't really add up on that.
By the way, like they're not necessarily professional stylists. Like maybe some are, but they're just maybe people that have got really maybe good taste. But I did it for a short while. I wasn't a fan. I don't want to badmouth it because some people love it and that's fine. But what you just said about buying more less often is so true. I have the best wardrobe when I shop for my photo shoots.
Yeah.
Because it's all at once and I need lots of options and different combinations of stuff. And I have the best wardrobe when I shop for a photo shoot. And then afterwards, I'm like, and then you go do that again. But that's true. Like, and I didn't really think about it in those terms that's the reason why. But you're right. You get it all at once when it's all kind of goes together. Everything's out in the season versus these one-offs. So
I will say, I think Stitch Fix is really good for women who are in a really deep style rut and they're like, everything I own looks the same. I don't know what I like. If you're willing to just let them send you whatever the heck they want, it can be a good thing. It can be a really good thing because they might send you something that like, as a stylist, the biggest compliment is I would never have picked this, but I love it.
Yeah.
So they might send you one of those things and give you a little style spark. So I think in that respect, Stitch Fix can be really good for those women. I will say, however, and every single person who is here tonight is going to have a harder time with Stitch Fix because you know what looks good on you. Yeah. I told Stitch Fix not to send me any dark gray or black.
And they did anyway.
I got boxes of
Yeah.
dark gray and black.
I know.
I don't
That's
wear
happened to
dark
me
gray
too.
and
That's
black.
why I was like, I don't
You
do
know,
this
so
anymore.
if you're really trying to like hone in on what's best for you,
Yeah.
just letting some random untrained person choose that is not great. It's not great.
The most fun for me is if is working with a stylist like you, Jen, or even or stores that you trust that have stylists. And I've actually gone in there before, in the mood to shop, but not really in the mood to shop. So, like I want you know what I mean. And so I've told the stylist, I'm like, you know what, just bring me stuff.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up with stuff I would never have worn before. But once I put it, I basically made it. And my husband came with me. He loves to shop. I know it's weird, but he loves to shop, and he's just like, just try it on. Just try a bunch of stuff on. I'm like, I'm just gonna try a bunch of stuff on. And I ended up walking out with stuff I would never have picked off the cup, because when it's on a hanger, it is really, sometimes it's really hard. Like there's a lot of things I would never have picked up. But if somebody else picks it up for me, I'll try it on.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh,
yeah,
that's not bad.
I think that, people who work in the stores all the time with the merchandise all the time, have the benefit of seeing how that looks on people. Now, some store associates have the benefit of seeing how it looks on people and the wisdom to see, to figure out who it would be good for. Right. Some stores don't have that, and they're just gonna be like, that's so cute on you. That's so cute.
I know, that's so cute. Oh my God, you should wear these pants.
You're so cute. Find another word. Find another word.
So cute.
But I think sometimes we need a kick in the pants. And I was reminiscing today about a time where I got in my own style rut, and I was actually at Nordstrom at the mall that you and I live close to, or did live close to. And I was getting ready for a big event and I wanted something new. I had plenty of stuff in my closet, so I don't know that I was trying that hard, but everything this woman brought me, I'm like, no, I don't wear that color. No, that's not the right neckline. No, I don't like that waist seam. No, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're that girl. Like, stop being that girl. Sometimes you have to just be a little bit more open to things, and not get in your own like rule prison, that I like to call it, because we can get into a rule prison. But the more you know about what looks good on you, the less helpful sometimes people are in stores.
All right, we are getting close to the top of the hour. Do we have one more? Do we have time for another question?
We do.
Okay.
I got a couple. Are you okay going a little bit over?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So there was one I really wanted to make sure I got here.
Okay.
Okay. Color choices for group photos. I think this is a great question.
It's a really good question.
And everybody, if you have that photo on your wall of everyone in a white shirt and jeans on the beach, or white and tan,
I love those.
My apologies in advance. But how do you choose colors for photos that will look good on everyone? And in this question, there's a couple different scenarios, and one is able to be planned a little bit better. Like, I gave my mother-in-law, I made everyone go get a photo done because we hadn't had one in ages. So I could kind of choose the colors. But then there are other times, like a wedding, where, if you want to get everybody together. Yep. I think it's kind of bridezilla-ish to be like, you can only wear warm, light, and bright colors because that's what looks good on me.
That looks good on me. That's all about me.
It's about me.
All right. So that's a really, really good question. And this is what we're going to talk about: universal colors. So there are colors that, for the most part, look really good on most people. And so they are the following. So a true red can look really good on most people, even if it's bright and you typically wear soft colors. As long as it's not an orangey red or a too cool purpley blue red, it's just a color that looks nice on most people. Now, as a group photo, be careful, because if you're all wearing if you're all wearing different shades of red, that might be a little weird. So, you gotta kind of be a little bit crafty there. But I do think that a crisp white would looks good on most people. I mean, I don't like to wear white personally. I think if you've got warm undertones, it can not always be the best. But when I say crisp, I mean like high quality, like really nice button down shirts or whatever or sweaters, not t-shirts. And but not cream and off white. Like it's gotta be like white. Everyone's in white. That still looks pretty good. Navy blue. Navy blue tends to be a really nice color for most people. You can typically find blues that are fairly much in the same sort of family so that you can do that. And that looks really, really nice. Pink, a lighter pink, not like a bright pink, like a magenta pink or something like that. But like if you were to take a red paint and add white and get a little bit of a pink, I don't know how to describe that any better. It's actually a pretty good color for most people, believe it or not, because you're still talking about that universal red. You just lightened it up a bit.
Oh,
okay, so I know, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
And then my absolute favorite color for everyone is teal. Teal looks it just does. You don't typically find a super bright teal because then you're looking at turquoise. I'm not talking about bright. I'm talking about just teal. A nice green blue or blue green looks good on absolutely everyone. And you don't need to really worry about it being too dark or too light. I think it's just a really flattering color. So I hope that helps a little bit. Putting people together in a group, trying to match like that might be really challenging, but that's why I think a lot of people stick to neutrals. But if you're going for color, those are colors that, and for also like bridesmaids and stuff, you know, there are colors everybody can wear.
Now, my tip, friends, is when you do photos, like a family photo, or if it's your wedding, if you're the person planning it, you get to pick the color, put everybody in your best color. Even family photos, right? Like worry about mom's outfit first. I can't tell you how many clients I've worked with like the night before a photo shoot, and they've like searched the internet for the perfect thing for their tiny, adorable baby. And their husband's like, I don't care. Just tell me when to get there. But mom is like stressing about it. And she's got nothing to wear. And she doesn't even want to have these pictures taken. And I'm always like, start with you first, like plan your outfit first. If you can do that, you know, and that's obviously more for like family photos and things like that. But if you can start with you, you're the one who's probably going to care the most about these photos and be the most critical of them. So take the opportunity to make you look best. Your kids are going to look cute in anything, and your husband doesn't care. Okay. Do we have any, yeah, we have
a couple, we have one question in the chat. Jan says or asks, what type of animal print do you advise for a bright, light, and warm with salt and pepper hair? So, okay, we'll talk about contrast. And I know that Jen, this is up Jen's alley too, I'm sure of it. We're talking about contrast a little bit because we can talk about contrast for 3 hours. But really, my rule of thumb, Jen might have a different rule of thumb, but my rule of thumb is based on your natural contrast. That's kind of the contrast that you want in your patterns. So if you have lower contrast, like me, then your patterns should be lower contrast as well. So whether it's animal print or plaid or stripes or whatever, you want to keep them low to medium at the most in contrast. Otherwise, the pattern's going to dance off of you. If you're someone that's got like very fair skin and super, super dark hair, you have a high contrast. Well, now you can wear those bolder patterns, those, you know, white and blacks, and those boulders, you know, zebra stripes or whatever, you know, animal print you want to wear.
Oh my gosh, that honestly, I'm like,
that was worth
coming here tonight, everybody. I'm so glad I showed up, because that is such good advice. That is such good advice. I love that. I'm stealing it.
You're welcome.
No, I got nothing to add to that. That was really good. That was really good.
You're like, oh, huh.
Well, you know what? One thing I always talk about with people and on my show a lot is that women know what looks good on them. They just don't know why.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
They don't know why.
Yeah.
So I kind of look at my job as helping women figure out why. And so I encourage people to go back into their own closets. If you're like, I don't know what looks good on me, go look at all your favorite clothes. Like, first of all, start dissecting necklines. If your 10 favorite things all have the same neckline, guess what neckline looks best on you, right? if all of your patterns that you love to wear are lower contrast, and I was thinking about my own wardrobe, I'm like, yeah, no, okay. That's why I hate that shirt. Like that makes perfect sense. I always feel I feel like high contrast patterns look very cheap on me, if that makes sense. Like I just look a little too bold, a little too shiny, a little too much. But like a leopard print that is low contrast and even lighter colors looks really expensive. And so that, I mean, that is a perfect example of, I know what looks good on me, I just don't know why. Love it. That is amazing. Good tip. Really good tip.
I'm so glad I could help, Jen. We're gonna have to do this again.
Everybody knows that the entire reason that I do my podcast and things like this is to get personal advice for myself. Okay, we had a question here. I have a diamond shaped face, long neck, and skinny petite body. What type of earrings and necklace would look good on me? Okay, so let me go back and read that again. Diamond shaped face, long neck, skinny petite body. So when you have a long neck, when you wear a long earring, it makes your neck look longer. A lot of women want a longer looking neck. Although I had one client who was like, my neck is so long, I think my head's going to fall off. And I was like, that's not really a thing, but okay. I get where you're going with that. So we did a stud earring that was right up here because it's where you want the focus to be. Now, if you have a diamond shaped face, that's my diamond, you want to fill this area right here, right? So if you had a shorter, like a shorter teardrop earring, and I know I'm thinking about like the leather teardrop earrings that have been big for a few years, they're sort of not as big now, but that sort of shape, but higher up, closer to the jawline. Because if you have that long neck, I'm guessing you also have a really good jawline. Let's bring attention right there with a teardrop shape earring that hits right at that spot. And necklace, skinny petite body. That unfortunately doesn't tell me anything, because if you are big on the bottom, even though you have a skinny petite body, you're going to want something that draws the eye up. If you are the same all over, you're going to want something that maybe creates a little bit more movement. Like if your shoulders are broader than your hips, even though you're skinny petite, you're going to want something that is longer to draw that eye down. So that's what I would say.
It's all about balance. I like lots of attention up here.
That's so funny because I want it all
right here.
lower. I have the best collection of like white pants, white jeans, statement bottoms, velvet. I mean, like I want everyone looking at my button legs, not at my belly and chest, which really unfortunate on a Zoom situation. I
mean, they can still check out my booty, but I'm just, I'm just saying.
Can you imagine if I
got nothing to show up here. So.
I only do waist down Zooms, everyone. That's all.
But I just made me think of something too. My lack of spectacularness up top. Like I finally, it's about 5 years ago now, but finally, like I took my daughter, who is probably more your body shape, Jen. She's larger on top. And since I have, this is not my language because I don't have boobs, but she really needs help. So we did the investment, we got her sized properly, and bought like really, really nice bras for her. I spend more on bras for her than I do myself. But then I was like, oh, maybe I should do something for me. Because, I had like the Gap and the whole, like, say exactly what you said, like you wear a t-shirt. I'm like, I can't wear a t-shirt. But now I've got bras that fit me just fine. Or just because you're small doesn't mean you don't need a good bra. So
that is so true. I had a client and she told me she was a 36A, and I'm like, you're not. And she's like, I am. No. And so I bet her the cost of my services that she was not a 36A. That's how sure I was. And she went to the bra fitter and she called me and she's like, I guess I owe you money. And I said, okay, well, what happened? She said, I'm a 32C. 32C. Yeah, 32C. All her life, she thought she was a 36A. And the cup did fit. I mean, you are with color theory. I am with bras. I could talk about them literally for hours, but the cup size on a 36A is the exact same as the cup size on a 32C, but the band is different. So you get no support, no lift, no nothing. They're just kind of hanging. So that's my bra thing. Let's see. Do you have any other questions that you need us to answer? Anything?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna throw one more out, and then if we have nothing here,
Okay.
yeah, I know some people got the time wrong, because that was my fault. You didn't get the time wrong. I got the time wrong.
Well, that's
I
okay. This is recorded, so this will
Yeah,
get
yeah,
sent.
yeah.
You will automatically get the
Yes.
recording. Okay.
And if you have a last minute question, throw it in there and we'll take care. Okay. What advice do you have for people who are colorblind? I'm just going to read this one so I don't mess it up.
Okay.
I used to shop at a specific store and would match colors using the color codes listed on the tags. That's brilliant, but it wasn't helpful for coordinating pieces. Now I have a wardrobe that is 98% neutrals and make sure to only include one non-neutral in an outfit at a time. But I would love to hear any ideas you have for making my wardrobe less boring. Also, I could greatly benefit from any ideas you might have for shopping for makeup beyond ask a sales rep to tell you what to buy.
Yeah, the makeup, that one I can't do in a few minutes, but
Yeah.
the colorblind, that's really interesting. And I don't know if you're completely colorblind or specifically like certain colors. I've never been asked this question before, but this is really interesting. And I would definitely, I mean, obviously agree with your strategy of the neutrals in one color, because you can't really go wrong there, right? But you want to spice it up. So, all right, here's what I would recommend. And hopefully you have a friend that you trust, or a stylist, or a store rep that you trust. And I would take in, so, okay, I'm not trying to sell anything on this call, I promise, but if you had a color fan, okay, so if you had a color fan with your color type, then you have all your colors there, and you could have someone mark for you a couple different color combinations that work for you. So when you go to a store, and especially one that you trust that has a good salesperson there or stylist there, you can show them what colors you're looking for. Even though you may not be able to see them very well, they might then be able to take that as a guide and then kind of help you. But you might also need that kind of guidance as far as like, these things go together when you go home, and you might have to tag them somehow.
Yeah.
I don't have that. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to do what I do, but I can totally understand that you would want to get more color in, but you're going to need a little help and probably a little bit of extra marking on your clothes somewhere, like on tags or something, so that you can coordinate. But I think you could totally do it. I just think you need like some color guides to take with you.
I think the only thing I would add to that is we are seeing some really out there color pairings right now. It's kind of hard to screw it up right now. Like literally everything looks intentional. Everything. This is your time to shine. Whoever asked that question, you just go for it. Go for it. I mean, really, you can, I love one of my favorite color pairings from the summer. And this is actually what we did in the capsule, was like that rusty terracotta color with like a citron greeny yellow. Yeah. Love it. Love that rust with lavender, with light pink, with olive. I love, olive and that citron together. So,
that color, that rust color is everywhere this season, everywhere.
And, it is burgundy. For a long time, we were stuck in this burgundy thing.
Yeah.
And I look back at like the capsules that I did. I started doing capsule guides in like 2016, maybe 2017. And it was like burgundy. Yeah. And now, and we base our capsules off of like what's in stores, what can our members find easily. And I'm like, guess what, guys, rust again, because that's what's out there. It's what's out there.
It does make for good transitions. So when I put out the guides for the trending colors, I'll do a page on like what was in the last couple seasons on what's the same or really similar, where you really can't like illuminating, like the bright yellow, like that's been going on for a while now, and orange has been going on for a while now, and blue has been going on for a while. So honestly, you're kind of, if you bought anything in those trending colors, it's going to transition you, because then you're going to find them again in the store. So you'll find things hopefully that go together a little bit easier, at least color wise. So
yeah.
Anyways.
So for our last question that we were just talking about, I do think you can pair a lot of things and not worry about it as much, because we're not in a season style wise where everything has to be perfect. And I love that. Like the whole look is a little undone. So if you're a little undone, not by choice, that's cool too. Yeah. That's cool too. And if you are a little undone by choice, that's cool too. So awesome. Did we have anybody? Is your capsule okay? I have a jeans question. Okay, well, ask your question. If your question though, Katie, needs a picture, then we can't do it. But otherwise, Katie, ask your question. And then Liz says, is your capsule wear for business, office casual? So one of the goals with our capsule guide is to help women have a wardrobe that goes everywhere they do within reason, right? Like if you're going to the royal ball, it's not going to help you. Everything else we want to do. So we include some athleisure, mostly smart casual, and some business casual. And we show you how you can wear your athleisure with your business casual and your smart casual with your athleisure and all that other good stuff. So if you work in a dressy office full-time, it probably will not get you 5 outfits a week, for an entire season, but there's enough in there to get you dressed for work a few days a week.
I cannot wait. Until your next one gets launched.
Do you want to tell them what we're doing, or should we do it?
Yeah, we can tell them what we're doing.
Okay. Tell them what we're doing. Because my people, if you're here for a Gen M, if you're a Gen Emmer right now, you're going to freak out. Yeah. My people are going to freak.
I hope so.
Oh, they're going to freak.
All right. So, and I will speak to my members as well. So within our membership, there'll be a link for you guys to get Jen's capsule, and there'll be a special code for you guys. And then I'm going to be giving out your color palettes for those capsules specifically for your color type. So instead of taking your giant your giant color fan with all your colors and trying to figure out how to put it together with the capsule, I'm going to be working with Jen. We're going to look at the capsule, and I'm going to come up with custom color palettes that go with the capsule for each color type, so that you can then, when you look at it, when it says use your capsule color for this top, you're not going to know what those are. And it should be a lot of fun to start to pull stuff in, because hopefully you'll have some of the things already in your wardrobe, but if not, there'll be links to those. In the membership also, there will be videos. There'll be a few videos of how I'm going to be using that capsule. And Jen and I are still working through what kind of content makes sense without, if you didn't buy her guide, I don't want to obviously reveal too much that's going to take away from her product. So we'll have videos and those color palettes, and then I will be giving and so then Jen will be able to offer those color palettes to her members as well.
Yes. So with the winter capsule, we're just going to see how it goes as a winter capsule bonus. Last season, I gave them all of the practice palettes that I'd been working on through the season. Mm-hmm. This was a weird year where trends didn't really come through till very late in the season. So I was playing with 8 or 9 different palettes, and I was like, here you go, guys. Here's what I was playing with. Right. Run with it. Our capsules, we choose one palette for the capsule based on what is easy to find and also what we have used before, because we are very committed to recycling as much as possible. We want you to have more style with less stuff. But a limitation of that is that when we are in this terracotta phase, my really cool people are like, I'm not feeling it. When we were in burgundy, my warm people are like, no, I'm not feeling it. Right. So this is an amazing way to be able to customize your capsule. Yes, you're going to have to do some shopping on your own for the capsule color items, but you're not going to start from scratch. So yeah, my people are excited.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
They're excited for this. So I am super excited for that. It comes out December 8th. And everybody's going to get what they need to get to get it. But okay, Jen, where can they find you online? Where can my people find you?
You guys can find me at yourcolorstyle.com. On that site, you will see a link for a quiz. So if you haven't taken the quiz yet, it's really a little bit like a mini course almost. It's not the fastest quiz, but you get a lot of photo examples. It walks you through, and hopefully you'll actually come out with understanding what is going to be your color palette. And then you'll see there's lots of options there. You can join the membership if you want, or not, but either way, the quiz is there. It's absolutely free. So I would love it if you guys came over there and check that out.
Cool.
And Jen?
All right. You guys can find me at youreverydaystyle.com. I am Everyday Style with Jen on both Facebook and Instagram. My podcast is the Everyday Style School. Obviously, you can get all of that right on my website. On my website, on the front page, there is the body shape quiz. And if you don't know how to dress your body, if you don't know what your shape is, that is the place to start. And once you get it, you'll get a recommendation of key pieces for your shape to at least get you started in the right direction until you're ready to put down that label and find a strategy.
It's your everyday style, right?
It is your everyday style.
Okay, got it.
As
I
is
put it in there
your,
for everybody.
yours is your color style, right?
Yeah, your.
I couldn't have everyday style because an out of business home decor company in Canada that has been out of business since like 2000 will not give up that website.
Oh, well, today I thought, well, since I changed my name, maybe for my speaker page, I'll change the domain from jenthone.com to jenvax.com because that makes sense, but it's not available.
Who has Jenvax?
Who has that name? It's not even, Vax is not even like the original name. My husband's dad actually legally changed the name from Vaxmunski to Vax like probably 40 years ago. So who has Jen Vax?
The
Unless
same
it would be
person who
me.
has Jennifer Mary. Who has jennifermary.com? Why?
Why?
Just give me my site. So now it's your jennifermary.com or your Jen Vax.
I know. I'm not doing that.
We just put your in front of it. It's what we do, friends. All right. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, whether you are here for me, for Jen, for both of us, just to hear how to make style a little bit easier and more fun. This was so much fun. This was
great.
I wish that we had met Jen when I was living there because we could have gone to lunch together.
Oh my God. We would have like disappeared. Everyone would like, where'd they go?
For those of you who hopped on late, Jen and I lived 10 minutes from each other before I moved from Northern Virginia, and we never met. So
yeah,
ships in the night. Okay. Thank you to everybody who came. We're going to do this again. I know that we are.
Oh, we're going to absolutely do this again because this was super fun, and we're going to get tons more questions now. They get the vibe, and yes. This is recorded. So as soon as recorded, Jen, I'll be sending you a link so you can get it for yourself for your peeps, and and I'll be sending out the recording automatically to everyone who registered as well. So
perfect. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye for now.